It appears even world leaders are not immune to New York City traffic.
Oh, really?
While the UN is in town. It is really bad when the UN's in town. After giving a speech at the General Assembly on Monday night, French President Emmanuel Macron made a surprise call to President Donald Trump while stuck on the street waiting behind a police barricade.
Who's this? How many people?
No, I have 10 people with me. I go to the French embassy.
No. It's just, I'm sorry, I'm President. I'm really sorry. It's just that everything's in frozen right now. There's a border keep coming late. That's why. I'm sorry.
How are you? Guess what? I'm waiting the street because everything is frozen for you.
It's so funny.
David Ignatius, I've got to say, one of the, a lot of people comparing the first and second terms of the Trump administration. One of the things that's not talked about so much is the fact that Donald Trump actually, this time around, has some pretty good relations with European leaders, regardless of what he says at the United Nations or at other places. He and Emmanuel Macron speak on the phone all the time, and they get along very well this term. I think he likes talking to him. Same thing, obviously, with Keir Starmer. Same thing with the German Chancellor. It's really quite a shift from the first term.
Yes, he's come a long way with the Europeans. It's also a demonstration of Donald Trump's absolute power in the second term, that he can control the traffic flows. That, if you need a guy who's gonna clear the street, you call Donald, and it's gonna get taken care of because he's the man. So okay, just as long as Macron understands that.
Yeah, exactly. And Caddy, just circling back to this, President, again, does have, and obviously not just by this phone call, but our reporting tells us that he does have a much warmer relationship with the French president, a very good relationship with Keir Starmer, which is very interesting because, of course, many people in those countries may not approve of the president's foreign policy. But talk about those closer bonds and if they may eventually get us somewhere where a lot of people in the West want to be on Ukraine.
Yeah, before that, I'm still feeling sorry for that New York cop. He's thinking, oh, my God, they didn't teach me this in cop school. I've got the president of France. The traffic has to be stopped. What do I do here? He needed a little bit of skilled diplomacy, carried it off well. You're right, Joe. He does have better relations with them. And I think that, some of it may be genuine warmth, although people around Keir Starmer quite often roll their eyes when I ask them how the meeting went. I think there's also a realization that that they have learned from Trump 1 how to get the best for their own constituents out of Trump 2. And the way to get the best out of for their voters is to flatter the president, to be nice with him, to make jokes with him, to use a charm offensive on him. It's not to kind of get angry and robust and snippy with him. That just doesn't work. Now, whether that means genuinely that, and we all know, the stories of Donald Trump being charming in private, it's quite possible, as it sounded like on that phone call, that Macron called him up knowing that he was going to be kind of funny and in on the joke. So he can be charming in public, in private as well. Other people have said it too who don't agree with him. But I think most of this is a realization of what they need from America, how high the stakes are for their own countries when it comes to specific issues like tariffs, like Ukraine, as we were talking about earlier. And they've got to swallow whatever animosity they have and find a way to deal with him in a more effective way than they did the first time around.
Yeah, and more than any other president I think I can think of, everything's personal with Donald Trump. That includes whether it's late night hosts or whether it is diplomatic deals with foreign countries or tariffs. You go down the list, it is personal. So these European leaders are learning how to better build a personal relationship with Donald Trump, and it seems to be working for several of them in pushing him to do certain things even behind the scenes.
Every president has an ego, but this is something completely different, where you have to run it through that ego, through the flattery that seems to get people everything. So Macron knows, Jonathan, that a phone call continues the relationship, a light moment. Zelensky knows that if he wants to save his country, he has to flatter President Trump. He has to take his lumps in an Oval Office meeting back in February. They understand the man, they understand the game, they understand the transaction that has to take place to get there, what they want out of the deal.
Yeah, that's the takeaway there, that Macron has learned lessons from the first time around, and other leaders have as well, even if there are sharp policy disagreements. In fact, one European cabinet official, and I can't reveal which country, said that their leader is trying to take up golf in order to try to be able to play with the president and therefore improve relations because they see how to do it.
Wow.
That's an extent. Okay,
What,
up next, we'll get into...
By the way, you just tell them to take up something else.
Okay.
Don't take that game up late.
Yeah,
Okay, up next, we'll get into
Mini
what
golf,
the
maybe.
president said to the General Assembly yesterday. We'll also have the latest on the telecommunications threat thwarted by the Secret Service in New York City. What we